Hello again, this is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. We are in Florida at the Cap Camp, Florida, and I'm joined with two of the guest speakers here, Stephanie Yuen and Annie Leiding. Guys, thanks for joining me today. So just to give a little background, I did a podcast with Jeff Wojtowicz a few months ago, and he is the founder of Children's Alopecia Project, and that's why we're here at this YMCA camp in Florida. And Stephanie and Annie are not products of CAP, but they are supporters and in the network, and they both have alopecia, and they're here giving back their time. So I'll start with Stephanie, who is a recently published author. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And first of all, let's talk about the book first, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about your journey through alopecia.
Yeah, so I wrote this book in hopes of kind of sharing my story as well as many others. I've interviewed many individuals. Also, Annie is featured in the book. So I think it's really important to get our story out there and also have people relate to it, and also non-alopecians alike to learn from our experience and see how to handle situations in that sense. So I lost my hair when I was 13. I'm now 20, so it's been 7 years, almost 8 years. It started as alopecia areata, so that's just like the patches on my head. But it quickly progressed in like 2 months to universalis, so I don't have hair anywhere on my body. Except there's like one leg hair that I have, but that's pretty much it. But yeah,
That one little annoying one.
Yeah, just that one. I keep it though. But yeah, it's been a journey, but I've met so many people along the way, and they've helped me become a better person, more optimistic person, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things it's it's a relatively rare disease, but probably really misunderstood, because I think the first thing someone sees when they see a female, especially without hair, is that you have cancer and you're going through chemo treatments. But you guys are both incredibly healthy young women. I mean, Annie had a career in college softball, and didn't start losing your hair until you were 19. So a little different than Stephanie's journey, but tell me about what that was like, as a young woman, at 19 years old, where all of a sudden your hair starts falling out.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I had the long, thick, thickest hair ever. I had long, thick brown hair, and for 19 years. Then 2 days before my birthday, I realized it was coming out in clumps. I noticed bald patches on my head. I was freaking out, and at this time I was a sophomore in college. I just transferred to the school 3 months prior, and I was 5.5 hours away from my home. And then so one day, 2 days before my birthday, I realized the clumps were coming out, and I called my mom in a panic, and she got me to the doctor like literally the next day. It was a friend of hers, and I was diagnosed with alopecia. And I did steroid shots, I did steroid creams, and then within 3 months, I lost 90% of my hair.
Wow. So you had really two different, you at 13, obviously with your parents, which was probably both beneficial and challenging at the same time.
Yes, very.
And then, you being out on your own, and again, just like this, what's going on,
Right.
type of moment. So, I'll start with Stephanie. I mean, how, as you were first learning that you had alopecia, I mean, did you even know what that was initially?
No. Well, so I first discovered a bald spot underneath my hair, and I didn't really tell my parents at first, but then after a week it was still there. So I went to tell them. She thought I was doing something to tying up my hair that would pull it out or something. So she helped me shower for the next 2 weeks or so, and she would see that it kept falling out too, and she would cry, and she'd try not to let me hear, but I could hear the quietest sob, and I went to doctors. They got a biopsy of my scalp to see what it was. I also did a lot of blood work to see, like, to confirm that it was kind of alopecia. I did like 23 tubes of blood drawn. I had 18 the first day, and they're like, sorry, it's not enough, so I had to go back another day to get 5 more. So yeah, it was very difficult going through that, and it was scary. But like when I found out it was alopecia, just knowing that I had a diagnosis, kind of, it was like I was able to look it up and research it on my own, and it wasn't just like, why am I losing my hair, kind of thing. So, and also my teacher at middle school, is my mentor still, and she reached out to me and asked like if I have alopecia, and she's honestly, like, I still talk to her today, and she's helped me with so much. Yeah, and I can relate to her, and she can relate to me, and it was so having that person, other than my parents, like, because they wouldn't understand, it was really beneficial to me and really helped me.
Yeah.
Impacted me a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. And for you, Annie, again, being 2 years on your own, year and a half on your own, and sophomore in college, and then this is happening. You said you called your mom right away, but not having your family right there with you.
Yeah,
What was
so
that like?
that was a hard adjustment. Like, I thought about going back home, taking a semester off, but my coach was the most supportive coach I've ever had. She really helped me through this journey. Also, my school was a Christian-based school, and I would also reach out to my pastor. I would meet with him weekly, and I was struggling with my diagnosis, so I was losing my faith. And with my coach and my pastor, I realized that I did have the support, but it was just a very hard journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my teammates were the most supportive teammates too during the time when I needed them. They embraced me how I looked and embraced me with hugs and constant support, so I really owe it to them.
Yeah.
Too.
So how important is that to have, and you guys can decide which one wants to answer first, but to have that strong support system, how important that was that for you to get, kind of embark on this journey initially, and still today?
So for me, I had a hard time telling my teammates at first about my journey, but they saw that I was wearing a hat constantly, and my coach kind of told them, but there was a moment where I was in a weight room and I wore a hat, and it was really hot in the weight room, and my face got really red, and I started having just sweating profusely. But I needed to finish this workout, and my coach told me, take the hat off and do this workout. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't want to take this hat off. And then with convincing, I decided to take the hat off, and I went back into the weight room to finish my workout. And as I walked in, my teammates came running. All 32 of them came running, embracing me with hugs. And after that, I was like, I just knew I had their support and the support system that I needed, and it really helped me through the journey.
Yeah, that's cool. Stephanie?
Yeah, I think it's so important. With me, I had friends who, if you were gonna bully me, they were gonna mess with you. They were gonna get back at you. I think my sister definitely was also the biggest support person I could turn to. She doesn't have alopecia, but she was someone I could just talk to and just rant to and vent to. But my support system, it definitely helped me become more optimistic and outgoing. Before alopecia, I was a very shy child, but I feel after alopecia, it actually helped me come out of my shell.
Wow.
But I think that I credit it to my support system. If I didn't have those people there, it could have been a whole nother road.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're here at Cap Camp, Florida. You guys are both speaking during the camp here. But again, you're not actually products of Cap. So how did you guys find out about Cap in the first place?
For me, I've seen posts on social media from Cap. It wasn't until I was in a support group on Facebook, and I posted about my book in it. and Jeff reached out to me, and I was like, I was just about to reach out to you. And he invited me to speak at Alopecia Palooza in like a few months ago, actually in June of 2021. So that was my first kid camp, and it was honestly the best experience ever. I wish I knew about these when I was younger, like when I first lost my hair. Yeah. Just having people like you and being able to relate, but also just you can see like all these bald kids like running around freely, like free to be themselves. I think it's really empowering to see that.
Yeah. And Annie, how do you find out about CAP?
So at this point, I was like 6 months into my diagnosis, one of the lowest points in my life. And my coach kept on telling me, use your alopecia as a platform in your life. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But then I looked on the website, I just searched alopecia, and CAP was one of the first things I saw. So I was like, okay, I can be a volunteer at this. There was a camp in a couple months, months. And I was like, okay, I can be a volunteer there. That would be good for me. And I never knew any other alopecian people, so I was like ready for that, to meet others and relate. So then I reached out to Jeff. I told him in the email, I was like, my whole story of how my teammates are very supportive and how I've come a little farther with my journey. And then the reply was I saw that I was speaking at the next camp. So that was a little shocking.
We're gonna throw you right in.
I don't think I ever mentioned
That's kind of how Jeff operates, though.
Yeah, he didn't reply, but he gave me the schedule. So I was like, okay, I'm ready for this opportunity. And
awesome.
I was a shy kid growing up, so my family members were all a little shocked, but I was like, I think this will be the best thing for me, and it has been the best thing I've found.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for you, Stephanie, I mean, being that you were diagnosed when you were 13, how important would have a CAP camp been for 13-year-old Stephanie?
Yeah, it's so important. I think just being able to see someone like you, and just being around them, like, and just hanging out, I think it's just great. Like, I talk to Annie almost all the time, and you just have that someone to talk to, and I don't know how to explain it. It's more than words that could describe it. It's so helpful, and being able to relate to someone like you, it changed my life. Like, just knowing someone else, like when at Alopecia Palooza, I've met kids ranging from like 6 years old to like 15 years old, and we all hang out and talk to this day, and it really impacted my life positively, and I wish I had that when I was younger.
Yeah. So why do you think it's important to be here and be an example for these kids to understand that you can have a normal life? You just don't have hair. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
They are my inspirations.
That's cool.
Yeah, I see the kids running around happy, embracing their luck. If they can do it, we can do it. And the kids are just, I don't know.
Yeah. At Alopecia Palooza, we had a talent show, and she's actually one of the kids here at camp today. At the talent show, she danced to "This Is Me" by The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
Had a hat on, and then when it said "This Is Me," like, she took it off, and she was like recently diagnosed at that time. And we lost it. We started crying. The parents in the back were like seeing us shaking. And we're like, are they good?
It was just the coolest moment, seeing this girl like embrace her look, and she was like, I can do it now.
Yeah. And at that young, like us being 20, in our 20s, like seeing that, and just it inspired us, really.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that video, but I've heard about it
Yeah.
many times now. So
I wish I took it.
I definitely have to actually see it. So I'll be talking to Jeff to show me that for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the inspiration to write the book. Again, I mean, published author as well, but I mean, my first book, it took me 9 years to actually get it to publication.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little bit, envious that I'm talking to a 20-year-old published author here. But what inspired it? And, just tell me about the process of, getting it out there, getting it there today.
I think I've always wanted to share my story. I didn't know how. Either speaking, as public speaking also gets me scared. But at Alopecia, it was different. I was calmly talking and at a good pace because I think people could relate and I was comfortable talking. But one of my friends was in the same program. I did a hybrid publishing. So I was like, how did you do this? He reached out to the professor of the program. I had an interview with him, so we did that. And I think starting at 13, when I did lose my hair, my mentor at the middle school, she's a teacher, we started a club called the Alopecia Awareness Club, and we kind of brought awareness to our school and our community. And I think from there, that's when I knew I wanted to spread more awareness and share my story. So yeah, I think I just wanted people to know how we go about life, both the good and the bad aspects, right. And just shine light into our situation, but also kind of give advice to non-alopecians in a way of not necessarily what to say, but just giving them an outlook and perspective, right, into how we live.
Yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but what is the title of the book?
Stronger Together.
Yeah, I love that title.
Thank you.
And just the title itself.
Says it all.
Yeah, it does. So why, we talked about the support system and all that sort of stuff, but again, what brought you to that title?
I think it was just seeing alopecians through social media and also meeting them in person. It's that we have alopecia and it unifies us, but it doesn't define us. But it does make us stronger. Yeah. Together. Yeah.
That's cool. So back to you, Annie. So Stephanie just mentioned about good and bad days. How do you mentioned your faith earlier, getting through those bad days, how important is that faith for you?
My faith has been a walk of journey. Like I said, I lost my faith. I was losing my faith. And I just have learned that everything happens for a reason, mm-hmm. and to trust in my faith, and I couldn't imagine my life without it. My school enforced going to chapel, and during my lowest times, it made my days better.
Yeah, that's so important. And I think, they always say God never really gives you more than you can handle, and I think, there's times where He picks the strongest individuals to, bear the heavier load. So I think that's definitely one thing you can look at, it is you're a strong individual, and that's why He gave you this load to bear, for sure.
Right.
So we're just about out of time. Before I get to my final question for you guys, anything else you want to add that we didn't cover?
I'm trying to think. I feel
I've been to 4, 5 alopecia camps, and they're all different, but it feels like have you ever been to a church group and then for the weekend and then you come home and you're like, I have the best people in my life?
Yeah.
And CAP has given me the best people in my life. I just feel that feeling all year round because I just know I have these amazing support systems, friends, mentors, children. They're just amazing, and it has shown me that ball is beautiful.
That's awesome. So, you made me think of something though. When you're talking about the camps and everything, so you guys have only known each other for about 6 months. You met last June at Capapalooza, but yet when we first saw you guys come in this morning, we'd have thought you were best friends for life sort of thing. So, it kind of goes to what, the point you just made about the people you meet. But what was it about you two that you kind of had what seems like an instant bond?
I finally met someone around my age, and having someone that can relate to me who's going through school and understanding relationships and just someone who understands me. Stephanie really did. We just have this special best friend bond.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's crazy that it's only been a few months.
We were talking, we're like, I picked her up from the airport and I feel like I saw her yesterday.
Yeah.
Like our friendship, it's I guess alopecia perk.
Yeah.
We've just like have found each other.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you guys had quite an experience with the flights in here to begin with. But yet when you arrived this morning, nothing but smiles. So is that another benefit to alopecia that, hey, a flight delay or mixed up flights is just something else. No matter what, I'm still going to see my people. That's
Definitely.
cool. That's cool.
I was just hoping her flight wasn't canceled. I was like, keep on delaying. It's fine. We just gotta make it to get there. Yeah.
Cool.
But to add on to what Annie said, like Alopecia was my first camp. I went home and I cried to my mom. I was like, thank you for letting me go. Like they're somewhat strict, and but I was like, I really want to go to this, and I literally went home and I bawled my eyes out, and I was like, thank you, because it has changed my life. And
it's so hard to explain, but when you're here, they're just such amazing people, and
you meet your second moms, your second families, and
everyone just understands.
Yep.
Everyone has a different story, but you have the most amazing support here.
Yeah, that's cool. So, all right. So, my final question. Which one wants to go first? Does it matter? And he's pointing at Stephanie right away. So, as I told you guys, the subtitle of the podcast is Many Little People in Many Little Places, which comes from the opening lyrics of a Michael Franti song called Gloria, which go in many little people in many little places do many little things, and the whole world changes. So it's one of the little things that you do on a daily basis to make the world a little bit better place.
That's a really good question. I think just smiling, having a smile on my face every day. I mean, there's gonna be bad days where it's hard, but I think having a positive energy is contagious to those around you, and it spreads. So if you're happy, that next person next to you is gonna be happy, and you could bond over that. So I think it's really important to just have a smile.
No, that's awesome, and you're actually living that, because we just talked about the flights. And again, you guys arrived with smiles on your faces, so you're living it. So
that's
you, Annie?
Exactly what I would say is keep a smile and positive attitude. Seriously, a positive attitude could change someone's day.
Yeah.
If you say hello to them, then they're going to be like, oh, you actually care, stuff like that. I'm student teaching right now, and I see third graders, and being just positive and happy around them can change their day, and it inspires me and makes the little things great.
No, that's awesome. Those are both great outlooks, and take very little effort, quite honestly, and no money whatsoever. So you can just be, and it's true. I mean, a negative attitude is contagious, as is a positive attitude. So, I think that's important that you guys understand that just a smile can change somebody's day for sure, for the better. So, guys, I appreciate you taking the time. Stephanie, a little plug here. How can you get the book? Where's that? Do you have a personal website, or is it all through Amazon? I'll let you kind of give a little plug here.
Okay. So you can buy Stronger Together on Amazon and also Barnes & Noble. I don't know the ISBN number off the top of my head, but you could just search up Stronger Together by Stephanie Yuen.
It's a really good read.
Cool. When are you going to publish your first book?
A couple months from now. Stronger Together Part 2.
Cool. Well, I really do appreciate the time, and I love what you guys are doing here for the other kids. I mean, I saw, the different activities this morning, how you're interacting with them, and again, you're both still very young, but obviously very wise beyond your years to understand the importance of what it's doing for these kids to see you guys. And I know you said that they inspire you, but believe me, you guys are making a difference for them as well. I can see it for sure. So appreciate the time. And for those out there listening, be sure to check out my blogs and other podcasts at Clouser.com. Annie, Stephanie, thanks again for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.